Hello there, my name is Ada Wells. Welcome to ProBalance TV. And what I'd like to do today is actually show you one of my favorite exercises that I love to give to, for that matter, most people who need to have rotation in their upper body, which is, once again, most people, but in particular my golfers. And what I'm going to do is show you this exercise the traditional way, and then I'm going to actually show this exercise adding the oov. And while it is a great exercise to do on the floor, the oov makes it just takes it to a different level. So the exercise we're talking about is book openings, okay? And just for those of you who've never seen book openings or don't know what it is, what you would do is you would be lying down on the ground, and I find that if you bend your knees up a little further, that will help to stabilize your low back. So if you have if there's some reason you really don't want to get movement down the lower part of the back, bringing the knees up will help that. You can have your head supported either with pillows or your hand underneath. And I oftentimes like to do this with my hand behind my head to start. A lot of times when people start this exercise, they want to just move just their shoulder out here and they don't get the motion in the thoracic spine or the mid part of the spine. So the book opening exercise, as it's traditionally shown, is we keep the pelvis stabilized as we rotate the upper body. Once again, where would we see this in the golf swing? And then we would take a breath and exhale, return it back to center. So once again, you can kind of see how me having my hand placed behind my head here just allows me to be able to make sure that I'm getting that motion from the thoracic spine. But nothing wrong with straightening out that arm so long as I can maintain the congruency and sort of the nice kind of joint placement of my shoulder as I'm going through this motion, okay? So that's the traditional book opening. Great exercise. But you know, anytime we have an exercise where there's a lot of our body that's against a static surface, it's a little bit artificial because, you know, in real life, we are pre-activating all of these little core muscles before we do a movement like rotation or lifting an arm. So whenever we can add that element of instability, particularly in a more organic way, it just enhances the motion, enhances the exercise. So I'm going to do that same exercise with the foam roller, the oov, and there's different ways we can do it. Now, one of my favorites is actually doing it lengthwise, but we can also we could do this exercise where you just lie down in the saddle and you allow yourself to get that rotation, which feels actually really nice. You do get a really there's a really gentle additional stretch that you do get, and we can almost sort of place this sort of saddle part of the oov at different segments to almost block it a little bit and create a little bit of extra movement more specifically. Now, what I really like doing though is I like coming in and sitting on the oov so that I'm now in a side bent position. Now, already right here, I've got to balance myself here, but I am working on balance, all right? There's already fine-tuning adjustments that my body is making. Now, when I take my hand and I place it up here and I start to rotate, there's a whole different level of engagement that's going on, and not to mention, I'm actually feeling some stretch in places that I did not feel before. So essentially, I'm creating this activation along with this lengthening. So it's an eccentric contraction, which working with eccentric work is really wonderful for working on control and really making sure that the body can protect itself when it gets towards these end ranges. All right, and so like right here, this motion here, like I said, I'm in a stretch, but it's not a static stretch at all. My body is doing all these little adjustments to make sure that I'm not just hanging out there. Because if I did hang out, I would end up on the floor, all right? So it's a super active stretch, but it feels great. And oh my gosh, right now, like to my right, so I was doing the right side, I just feel so light and free on the right, so I can't wait to do it on the other side once I get off this video. So anyways, so something to consider is if you do have an oov, or if you don't know where to get one, I'll make sure I have a link below. These can be purchased from Balanced Body, and they are $179, well worth it, because the things that I could do in, where it took me 4, 5, 6 visits to do, I can now get in like 15 minutes because we're doing so many different things. Myofascial release, we're working on being able to get joint congruency, we're able to get segmental control. All of these things in just with one exercise. And so you don't have to sit there and do 5 exercises to achieve the same thing. So anyways, that's my plug for the OOV. Love it. But especially, like I said, think about those exercises that you might have where you typically would have a lot of your body on a static surface, and think about how you can incorporate an OOV to be able to make it a little more effective. Okay? If you would like to have any more information on the OOV, go to www.probalance.tv. Make sure that you go there, and I've got a free membership portal you can sign up for. I do have some additional videos that are in there that are not out to the public. And in addition, I continue to add more, and I will let you guys know as we have more trainings and such for the OOV. All right, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.